that we get an opportunity to do this once in a while. We have the honor of bringing on a new member to the police department. Back in, I believe it was January, we received approval to replace a couple of officers due to upcoming retirements. We started the process after reviewing multiple applicants and going through a very thorough background investigation, hiring process, multiple interviews, fitness tests, and some practicals and things of that nature. I had the pleasure of finally sitting down and interviewing Declan Ray amongst four of the top candidates. Declan, another candidate, scored at the top two. And obviously he's a local resident in Long Hill Township. For as long as I've known Declan, he's always discussed becoming a police officer. Declan prepared himself by going to Montclair State University, where he engaged in child advocacy. And it's kind of unique. Most of the officers we get are in criminal justice. And when asked specifically why he chose child advocacy, he felt that if he can focus his attention in law enforcement on the youth and the youth programs, that hopefully will make a difference by the time they become adults, and hopefully avoid conflict with the law down the road. So it was very unique that he made that kind of determination early on in his career. He did minor in criminal justice. He put himself through the Cape May County Police Academy initially as a Class 2, then left there, went to Morris County Police Academy as an alternate route, where he successfully completed the program. I think it was the first class during COVID, so it was very unique, as we've all experienced some unique times recently. Managed to get himself through there, and came highly recommended from local employers to friends, family. His difficult challenge is going to be beating a very difficult act to follow, but I think he's going to do fine. He's going to be in good hands. We have multiple officers that are here in support, and I think he's going to fit right in with the family. So without further ado, I'd like to call Declan Ray up and present him with his badge. Actually, you want to administer the oath first, and then we'll administer that? So
if you want to come up here and stand, and if you would like to come up and hold the Bible as well.
Jenna.
I'll let you hold it.
Thank you. Jenna.
I just want you in your frame. So if you want to stand next to me, because you're going to have to repeat after me. Okay. I'm going to put your hand on the Bible. Other one. Right here. Okay. I, Declan Ray,
I, Declan Ray,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state, county, and township,
and in this state, county, and township,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of the office of police officer according to the best of my ability.
and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of the office of police officer according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. You're going to find narrative 3 copies. Yep. All. That's your copy. Now I'm taking a copy. Congratulations. And if you want to go down there and be presented.
All right, congratulations. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chief.
If I could just, everybody, we had we're under a time crunch, like I said, to fill void. And I want to recognize the officers that worked hard to do the background and assist with the interview process. So if I could just take a moment to recognize Detective Roberts, Detective Novotny, Officer Engel, Officer McCarskey, Sergeant Thompson, and Lieutenant Sombrello. They all assisted in this process and were part of the main aspects of it. And upcoming is going to be also Sergeant Newswander and Sergeant Thompson assisting with the firearms qualifications and getting Declan ready to join the force. So thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight. And I think the family might be having an event of some sort. So I'll let that to the family to invite everybody back to the event. Thank you. Have a good night.
That's fine.
Mayor Pasucci and I will just take a minute and get back to our offices to continue the meeting, okay?
So I just.
Yeah. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Guy.
Apologies. Oh, is everyone waiting on me now? All right. I can tell by the amused look we are. Okay.
Guy, would you like me to share my screen to show the proclamation?
Yes, no, actually I have it, but maybe for the public, but it would be too small for the public to read.
I can put it up so they can see it, and then if you wanted to, just kind of give a few highlights in the proclamation, and then I'll have it printed.
That's fine. All right, so, there's a proclamation that I'm going to read, just the highlights, as Megan pointed out, which will declare National Poison Prevention Week. And I'm looking for when that week is. Megan, can you help me there?
It is the 17th through the 24th, I believe.
Okay,
I'm sorry, I believe it's the 15th through the 19th. It's next week.
third full week. Yep. In fact, if I had simply read it, I would have known. All right, here we go. I will not read the entire proclamation. I'll read some of the highlights. I'll leave out the whereases after the first whereas. But I think it's important that the public be aware of why this week is being highlighted. Whereas Congress designated the third full week in March to be National Poison Prevention Week in 1961. And since then, this week has helped raise national awareness of the dangers of potentially dangerous medicines, household products, chemicals, environmental contaminants, and other substances. And I think it's important to point out, whereas unintentional poisoning is the leading cause of unintentional injury death in New Jersey, outnumbering deaths by motor vehicles and firearms. Although most reported poison exposures involve children 5 years and younger, most poisoning deaths occur in adults between the ages of 20 and 59. Overdose deaths from prescription opioids, over-the-counter medications, and illegal drugs remain at epidemic proportions for both New Jersey and the United States. Now, therefore, I, Guy Pacercia, Mayor of Long Hill Township, do hereby proclaim the week of March 21 to March 27, 2021 as National Poison Prevention Week in New Jersey, and encourage all citizens to pledge their commitment to ensuring the safety of themselves and their families. Thank you, Megan. Thank you for putting that together. So now I'd like to introduce ordinance 470.
This is second reading.
Yep, I'm gonna point that out. 470-2021, as Megan pointed out, it is the second reading. It's an ordinance concerning street openings and amending chapter 20 of the Township Code entitled Streets and Sidewalks. So any questions from or comments from the Township Committee? Seeing none, I'd like to open up the meeting to the public for comments or questions regarding this ordinance. There will be time for comments, general comments and questions later. Megan, has anybody raised their hand?
I don't see anyone, Mayor.
I'll give them just a couple of more seconds. Okay, seeing none, I'm going to close the meeting to the public. Can I have a motion to adopt ordinance 470-20?
So moved.
Looking for a second.
Second.
All right, Megan, can you take roll?
Committeeman
Wait.
Dorsey,
Yes, I couldn't find the mute.
Committeeman Lavender,
Yes.
Committeeman Verleza,
Yes.
Mayor Paserchia.
Yes. So item number 6, for those keeping score at home, consent agenda resolutions. That's resolution numbers 21-069 to 21-077. And we are adding 21-079, which I guess, Megan, would Jack introduce that
Yes,
one?
yeah, I can
Jack's gonna
explain
be
that.
reading it into the record, yes.
Okay, and so any committee folks want to pull any resolutions for further discussion, questions? Seeing none. Jack, you want to explain it now?
Yeah, sure, I can explain it now. Because of a quirk in the local government services rules, we have to have a CFO appointed. For the last several years, the CFO duties were performed by Randy Barr, who's an employee of Cooney, not sure the order. And perform the duties, but DCA is requiring us at this point in time to appoint somebody. So the proposal is that Randy Barr has been performing those duties for several years, be appointed as CFO for a 4-year term through the end of 2024 at a salary of $1,000. Commensurate with that, the contract with his firm will be lowered by $1,000. So it's not costing the town anything. It's really a technicality that we're responding to. So the resolution reads, whereas the township is in need of services of a certified municipal finance officer pursuant to NJSA 489-140.13, and whereas Randy Barr has the necessary license, education, and experience to serve as CFO, now therefore be it resolved, 1, Randy Barr, certified municipal finance officer, is hereby appointed CFO for the township effective March 11, 2021, and expiring December 31, 2024, for the 2021 yearly salary of $1,000. 2, a certified true copy of this resolution is to be forwarded to the Division of Local Government Services at the Department of Community Affairs.
Thank you, Jack. So at this point, I'm looking for a motion to approve 21-069, 21-077, and 21-079.
So moved.
Need a second?
Oh, okay, I'll second it.
Committeeman Dorsey,
Yes,
Committeeman Lavender,
Yes.
Committeeman Verleza,
Yes.
Mayor Paserchia.
Yes.
Mayor,
wait.
before you move on,
Yes.
we were not recording when you voted on resolution 21078. So Jack, I was wondering for the record if they could re-vote on that and note that Committeeman Ray abstained.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, we weren't recording out
No.
front?
I turned off the recorder when everybody was coming in and I didn't turn it on until
Not-
you started talking.
Sorry, I wasn't trying to point blame. How about
No,
this?
it's my fault.
When I walked by, I kicked the plug out of the outlet, so I'll throw,
I like
I'll
that better.
accept. So, all right, so let me at least read what that is again. 21-078 appoints, it's a resolution to appoint Declan Ray to a probationary police officer. And so can I have a motion to approve resolution 21-078?
So moved.
Now, Jack, how does this work? Because my notes from when I was up there, I have.
Why don't we do it the same way? Why don't we reenact the way it was
Okay.
done?
So Committeeman
it's on
Dorsey would
record.
be making the motion,
yeah, I made the motion.
and then Committeeman Lavender makes the second,
Second.
and then I'll take roll again.
Yes, please, just so it's on the record. We're really reenacting what's already been done.
Okay, Committeeman Dorsey,
Yes,
Committeeman Lavender,
Yes.
Committeeman Verleza,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Ray abstained, and Mayor Pasocia.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm sorry about that.
Okay. So Nancy, that's okay now?
Yeah, sorry.
Well, we could have blamed it on the little mouse and stopped turning the wheel or something like that. All right, so liaison reports. Vic, why don't we let you go first?
All righty. Let me, so my first report as the new police liaison.
Actually, that's interesting. How do we do this now? Because we haven't changed the appointments yet.
Yeah, but does it matter who reads the report?
I don't know.
No,
Jack says
I can
no,
read them
so-
all, in theory.
Jack says no, so proceed, Vic. Sorry for cutting you off.
No, that's okay. I was wondering myself. So we'll start off with the arrest incidents year to date, 5. Actual subjects, both adult and juveniles, arrested, 7. Major incidents, none. Special requests. Please be aware of a recent uptick in various phone scams that have targeted a lot of our residents, especially our elderly and senior population. The various scams have been reported this year that have included Social Security scams. Scammers pretend to be from the Social Security Administration and try to get your Social Security number or money. We also have utility company scams, where scammers pretend to be from utility companies and threaten to shut off your service if they don't receive immediate payment. We also have bail scams to watch out for. Scammers pretend to be associated with law enforcement or law firms that threaten to incarcerate a loved one if they don't receive immediate payment for bail money. If you receive any of those calls, please hang up immediately and call the Long Hill Police Department for any suspicious phone calls. That includes my police department liaison report.
Thank you, Vic. Scott?
Yeah. So I'll take care of rec. So let me share my screen real quick. Can you guys see that? Yeah. So we have a number of rec sponsored activities coming up. The first one's around Easter. We have the egg hunt March 26th through April 2nd. The goose chase scavenger hunt the same time, March 26th to April 3rd. And the big man, Peter Cottontail, visits Town Hall on Sunday, March 28th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So this is going to be a great event for children of all ages. You can get more details on our website under recreation, but the fun continues. So we'll be sponsoring virtual STEM programs, science, technology, and some other stuff. That starts in April. There's 3 courses right now: Minecraft Game Designer, The Art of Filmmaking, and Roblox Game Design. Prices and registration online at Community Pass. And then lastly, there is a virtual babysitting trainer class. So when all these restaurants open up, parents are going to want to get out, and that means business for young men and women to babysit. So we're offering classes for grades 6 through 12. And these are, there's 3 dates in April, May, and June. And again, you can go to our website. Let me show you where it is. Go to our main page, go to departments, and go to rec. And this will come up on the pass there. And that's it. That's our rec update.
Thank you.
Pardon me, but to show me up so badly on your first time, Committeeman Lavender, is cruel. Well done.
Well, not to mention, Vic, somewhere in your report, I didn't hear anything about miscreants. So I don't know if I don't know what that means. All right, Matt.
The mute wouldn't go off. Okay, for the fire department, great job, everybody. And I'd like to thank Millington. I know they raised money and gave a donation to the burn unit at St. Barnabas, which piggybacks into the DPW report. Now that all the snow is pretty much gone, all the recycling opportunities are available and it's easy to get to now. So don't forget about the styrofoam, cooking grease and oil, the cans, aluminum for the St. Barnabas, and also tires. And don't forget for electronics. So instead of putting it out on bulk day, just bring it down there for the electronics. The DPW is now they're doing potholes again. So if you see a pothole, please report it on the town website. They are doing catch basin repair. They're actually out there doing that this morning. One sunk into the road and I saw them fixing it. Belgian block repair. And I think they're going to start working at the lake this week to start cleaning that up. And anybody that's interested in mulch, get your orders in early. They start taking orders on April 1st. Last year we sold out with a lot of people home and nothing to do. So get your orders in early for mulch, April 1st. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. For those who didn't see it today, Governor Phil Murphy has now, he announced today that effective March 19th, the capacity limit for restaurants, bars, casinos, gyms, personal care services, and amusement venues will increase to 50%. That's effective March 19th. And at this point, I'd just like to take this opportunity to implore all of our residents, please use your local businesses. They've always been here for the community through all the events. A lot of the events that Scott just mentioned have sponsors and they are your local businesses. So as we approach the new normal, restaurants, stores, etc. We have a great business community here in Long Hill Township. They are there for us, so let's be there for them if you can. So Nancy, I think we'll turn to you for the administrator's report.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have one thing, and it is an announcement by the county that they intend to pave Long Hill Road, just 0.6 miles of it from Basking Ridge Road to the county line. And that is supposed to take place, I guess, they usually do start over the summer, I guess. So that is supposed to take place in 2021 unless it gets pushed to next year. But it is on the schedule. And I did have one thing under new business. I didn't know if you wanted me to bring it up real quick. It's about restaurants.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
So you passed a resolution extending outdoor dining through March 31st of this year, so this month. So I was wondering, hoping that you would do a resolution at the next meeting. Most towns seem to be doing it through November, through the end of the year, to allow outdoor dining. So I wanted to know if you would be willing to entertain that at the next meeting to do that extension.
I mean, I think you know my feelings on this, absolutely. But I think maybe Scott and Vic and Matt, if you can
We even
opine.
need to wait.
Yeah, why can't we do it now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can do it by motion because the substance of the resolution is already in the record.
Hey, Jack, can I ask a question?
Sure.
What that means for restaurants with ABC licenses?
Well, we can't supersede. So any of those restaurants would have to get approval from ABC, assuming ABC extends the date. So all we can do is say from a zoning perspective, but we can't allow them to expand their licensed premises. Only ABC can do that.
So Jack, could you verbally say something that we can motion to approve?
I think motion to approve resolution number, I don't have the number in front of me. I think it was holding enforcement in abeyance of outdoor dining and sidewalk sales and things like that, as I recall. Extend that date through, do you want to make it November 30th, December 31st?
I would suggest, I think Nancy said the end of the year and make it through Christmas time.
And if you can just add in a section about tents that does not exclude getting tent permits, because we still need businesses to get those. And I just want to note you can't put businesses are not allowed to put tents up until April 1st. Because if they go up now, between now and the end of the month, they have to be able to bear snow load and wind and things like that. And it's a whole different inspection process. So technically they can't have tents up until April 1st. And even at that point, they have to apply for a permit and they have to be inspected by the fire inspector.
Yeah, I think we made it clear in the original resolution, and we can make it clear in the record tonight that all we're doing is relaxing enforcement of zoning regulations. You know, we can't override construction code provisions, ABC regulations, or anything of that nature.
Do you guys want me to share the last resolution that we approved extending
Yeah.
it through the 31st?
Sure, yeah. And Nancy, I think if memory serves me, we also waived the permit fee for the tent.
I think we
did
I
that in
think
the
we did.
original one.
Yes.
Yeah, so there's no fee, and I know there was a question about that. There's no fee for outdoor dining. We did ask people to let us know who was gonna do it, and I could send that out to the restaurants again like we did last year, but there was no cost to them to do it.
Okay, so perfect. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jack. What you're suggesting is we take the original resolution and extend the expiration date.
All we're changing is the expiration date of the original resolution, and it's been extended once before, so we're further extending it.
Understood. So do you need a motion,
Yes, please.
So I'll make a
gentlemen?
motion to extend it to what, December 31st to 2021. That's fine. Good. That's my motion.
I'll second.
Sorry.
And just so it's clear, and we made it clear the first time, we're not overriding planning board approvals or the MLUL or anything else either. All we're doing is holding enforcement in abeyance.
All right, I'll take a roll call vote. Committeeman Dorsey,
Yes.
Committeeman Lavender,
Yes.
Committeeman Verleza,
Yes.
and Mayor Paserchia.
Yes. Nancy, back to you.
That's all I have.
That's all. Okay, so we have item number 9, discussion cannabis legislation. As I think everyone knows, the governor signed what the voters had overwhelmingly approved by referendum. But what comes to the township, and Jack, I'm going to let you, I'll just introduce it.
Sure.
What comes to the township is municipalities must either opt in or opt out. And you can correct anything I say that's not correct.
No, it's automatic. It's automatic opt-in unless we opt out.
Okay, that's important. So we have 90 days in which to address this. I don't know if it's by resolution or
180.
by ordinance. What is that?
180 from February
180?
22nd.
It's 180?
Yep.
And that is as to whether we will opt in or opt out. If you opt out, you can opt in at any time. If you opt in, I think it's binding for 5 years.
That's correct.
But there are
correct.
some nuances, Jack, that perhaps you might want to explain, and then maybe the township committee can discuss it, ask questions, etc. And any member of the public at the end of the meeting can ask questions as well.
Yeah, there are a number of, we can enact ordinances that govern the times of operation, location, manner, and number of type of cannabis businesses, establish civil penalties for ordinance violation, permit consumption areas for retail licenses. We cannot prohibit cannabis delivery services, which are called Class 6 licenses. The new legislation nulls and voids any previous ordinances that were adopted concerning cannabis activities. It limits the locations. You can't be in grocery stores, delis, indoor food markets, retail food establishments, or licensed premises. And I think, as you said, Mayor, the important thing is if the town wants to opt out or prohibit one or all of the classes of licenses, we have 180 days from February 22nd. Otherwise, class 1 to 4 and class 6 licenses would be a permitted use in all industrial zones. Retail selling of cannabis, which is a class 5 license, would be a conditional use in all commercial zones or retail zones. And the reason the one exempted is the delivery. You can't prohibit delivery. And as you said, if you do not opt out before August 22nd of this year, you're stuck for 5 years. You can't change it and choose to opt out at that point in time. You can enter later. You can adopt an ordinance, but any businesses that started from during the period from August 22nd through the date of the adoption of an ordinance would be grandfathered. So you can't put them out of business once they do it. So the Township Committee really needs to make a decision whether you want to allow or disallow all types of cannabis-related businesses. There's some other controversial sections of the statute. One is it effectively prohibits municipalities from adopting an ordinance prohibiting underage consumption of alcohol and cannabis on private property. We adopted an ordinance prohibiting alcohol consumption on private property several years ago, so that's going out the door. There's several
Jack,
interesting things.
Jack, can you repeat that? What that last part?
Yeah, but several years ago, pursuant to state law, we adopted an ordinance prohibiting the consumption of alcohol by minors on private property. The rationale being was to break up, graduation parties and things like that. This new law voids those ordinances, including our ordinance. It also has some controversial provisions regarding underage possession or consumption. And I know the police organizations are up in arms about some of these things. For alcoholic beverage, marijuana, hash, or any cannabis item, for a first violation, you only get a written warning without notification to a parent or guardian. So the law prohibits the police from notifying your parent if on your first violation for underage consumption of alcohol or use of marijuana. Second violation is a written warning. They must provide you with information and materials on social services. And if the offender is under 18, notice is given to the parent or guardian. And then third, a subsequent violation, a write-up. Social services information must be provided, and you must be referred to a social services organization. There are several other things. Underage people are not capable of giving lawful consent to a search to determine possession or consumption violations. Police officers are not permitted to request a consent to search. Odor does not constitute reasonable suspicion to initiate an investigatory stop. And it does not constitute probable cause to initiate a search of a person or their personal property. And lastly, plain sight, which means if something's on the seat of your car, would not constitute probable cause to initiate search of a person or their personal property. So the bill's 240 pages long. And to use Imus's old saying, makes your hair hurt to read through it. But most of those things aren't before the town. I just thought I'd point them out before the Township Committee. But you do have to decide whether you want to do the opt-out ordinance or not.
How long lead time will we need to get through it? Is it a month?
At least part of it is a zoning ordinance. So you need to refer to the planning board and they have 35 days to review the ordinance and report back. So as a practical matter, we should probably allow 6 weeks, three meeting days.
So sooner than later, we should probably address this.
Yes.
All right, now, sorry to cut everyone off. Scott, Vic, Matt, questions for Jack?
Yeah. So Jack, what's the downside of opting out if we can always opt back in?
It's not for me to say, but I know some towns are choosing to go that route to allow time to digest the whole thing and see how it works in other towns and then make the decision.
I mean, that's kind of that. There's no downside that
Not
you
really, no.
determine.
That's right.
Other than, and the upside is it stops the clock so the towns can think.
Exactly.
Jack, what's the revenue to the town? I know there's some clause in there that
Yeah,
the town gets an extra % of sales tax.
And they're fairly low. There's a local cannabis tax that you can set by ordinance, but the tax cannot exceed 2% for a cannabis cultivator, 2% for a cannabis manufacturer, 1% for a cannabis wholesaler, or 2% for a cannabis retailer. Now, I
So we get
heard someone
2%.
talking about it the other day, and they said you need at least 3% to break even, just to cover the administrative costs and the cost of policing and things like that. So
Wait, who would need 3%?
I heard someone talking about it who knew more than I do about the cost, but they said just the cost of administering it, you really need to collect 3% tax in order to cover your costs.
But what's the administrative cost? The police aren't allowed to do anything, so that's out.
Yeah, that's true.
And then what other police, I would imagine the state would regulate the business like the ABC. So what would our administrative cost be? Really nothing. It's
Yeah, you've got a point.
So to put that in perspective, for every $100,000 in sales, that's $2,000 to the town.
Yes.
Vic, do you have any questions for Jack? Comments?
Oh,
All right, so I mean, I'd really like to get this on the agenda sooner than later. I don't know, Megan, how's the agenda look for, I guess, March 24th?
We can put it on that agenda.
Yeah, there's a sample ordinance that's been distributed and I adapted in Burnsville last week. And basically it has two sections. One is the police power section, which says it's illegal in the town. And the second section says it's not a permitted use in any zone under the MLUO.
And Jack, you have enough time for the next
Oh, absolutely.
meeting to put that together?
Absolutely. I can do a search and
Okay,
replace
then,
borough for township,
unless there's any
township for borough.
strong,
As long as that's the direction the township committee wants to go. Well, I can have it
Unless-
ready anyway.
perfect. All right, so now, item number 10, old, new business. Batter up, whoever wants to speak. Okay, so just, and maybe something I could have mentioned during liaison. I always say we never thank our I'm about to get into some points, etc. The volunteer times anonymously, giving of themselves, asking nothing in return. So on behalf of the committee, I want to thank you publicly. With that, we have a resignation from the Rec Advisory Committee, Mr. John Falvey. That was effective February 26th. With that, we have some standing committee appointments for 2021. Vic Verleza, as was mentioned earlier, will now be the liaison to the police department. And Committeeman Lavender will be the liaison to the rec department. We have a couple of township committee appointments. I guess, do we take a public vote on this or?
Well, the mayoral appointment is you, and then the township committee appointment to the CAC committee will be a township committee appointment, so we'll need a motion in a second.
That's what I thought. So I guess I'm proposing that Colette Armente be appointed for 3 years to the Communication Advisory Committee. It would extend through December 31st, 2023. And can I have a motion to make that appointment? And actually, there's one more, I apologize. The rec department, is that also a township committee? There's a,
I believe it is.
Yes,
right, why don't,
I believe it is.
okay, so there's another one. I'm gonna need a motion, if you, I don't know if you want to make a combined motion. Appoint to the rec department, Ms. Danielle Daly, sorry. And so there's the Colette Armente to the Communications Advisory Committee, and there's Danielle Daly to the Recreation Committee. And I'm looking for a motion for both appointments.
So moved.
second. Give it to Vic.
thanks, Matt.
All right, I think, okay, I'm
All in
sorry,
favor?
Megan. Aye.
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 Okay, so item number 11 on your agenda. I don't know if I had any, usually when I'm at home, I have the newspapers and stuff in front of me, so I don't know that I have that. So I'll just reiterate. As we open up, we're getting closer to the new normal. Please patronize our local businesses. At this point, I'd like to open up the meeting to the public. Remarks or statements on any topic, not just what was discussed at tonight's meeting. If you could, please be respectful of other members of the public. If you could limit your comments to 3 minutes.
We did receive one written comment, if I can read it into the record.
Absolutely.
The Golden family of Gillette wishes Officer Ray all the best in his new role and wishes to express our continued faith in and support to the Long Hill's finest. Kind regards, Lena Golden.
Thank you, Lena. That was well said. And the public, you're still, if I'm looking to see how many folks we have here. If no comments, I'm going to close the meeting to the public. We're going to move back into exec, but no further action will be taken. So I look for a motion to move into exec.
So moved.
Motion. Second.
And just use the same link from before.
All right, that's it. Go
All right.
Seton Hall.